Welcome to this webinar, which provides insights on effective outdoor environments with a focus on primary schools. In this webinar, we will explore how effective learning environments can be developed in primary schools as a means of supporting continuity in the children's learning experiences. These insights take account of research as well as inspectors' findings in early learning and care settings and observations in primary schools, and the advice provided by inspectors to promote improvement. All of the advice provided in this webinar should be considered in light of the prevailing public health guidelines which apply in educational settings. In this webinar, we will explore the nature of outdoor play and its many benefits to a child's development and learning. We will look at how outdoor play can benefit children and what outdoor provision in primary schools can look like. This webinar is rich in imagery, which has been gathered from schools and early learning and care settings, in city and town center settings where space may be limited, in rural settings, and in settings that use nearby amenities on a regular basis. Through the use of visuals, we will highlight schoolyard greening and why it is so beneficial to the health and overall well-being of children and adults. Finally, we are hoping to provide some inspiring ideas to enhance your own outdoor area, schoolyard, and begin to make changes towards a more play-friendly environment for the children. For those of you who are thinking big, we will also add images from schools around Ireland. These schools have made the big change and created natural areas as their break time yard, or in some cases as well as their yard. It is important from the outset to note that outdoor environments can of course be used to support and enhance curriculum provision. Notwithstanding the importance of this point, it is also important though to note that children need to be enabled to use outdoor environments for play, in line with the key points noted on screen from the UN Convention's Committee for the Right of Children to Play. The committee notes that children need space and time for play and opportunities to play outdoors in a diverse and challenging environment with nature and animals. Throughout this webinar, while we will at times refer to children's learning, we will focus predominantly on the use of the outdoor environment for play, recognizing, of course, that learning happens through play. So firstly, a question to get us thinking. Reflecting on the dual purpose of the schoolyard, think about your own schoolyard. What does it look like, feel like? What can the children do there? What do the children communicate? What do they like, dislike, want more of? Are there green areas? And are there natural, manipulative, open-ended, and sense-rich materials? Are there versatile, interesting, and inspiring play options? Are these easily and autonomously accessible for the children? Do you think the children's play is exciting, challenging, and fun? So the main purpose of any schoolyard is recreation. Many primary break time yards have flat, hard surfaces, perhaps with some grassy verges, plants and bushes, and many have schoolyard markings, such as hopscotch and number lines, and even a compass. Teachers every day invest time and energy to provide loose materials, such as hula hoops, skipping ropes, cones, and balls to make break time more engaging and to encourage physical activity. A lot of children love to play with these props and features, and in particular ball games are very popular. This tells us that there will always be a need for flat, hard surface play areas to enable these types of play. Many schools are very successfully engaged in the Green Flag Biodiversity Program, which focuses on biodiversity, litter and waste, energy, water, and global citizenship. As part of these initiatives, the children are involved in composting and vegetable gardens for charity or fundraising. Many schools support children to use cycle tracks, and they go on picnics, nature hunts, and have fun with obstacle courses. Considering how important play, and in particular play in nature and with nature is for recreation and the overall healthy development of children, it is worthwhile to place some emphasis on establishing the schoolyard as a natural play space. Many educationalists view natural environments as potentially more complex, imaginative, self-determined, and playful compared to play in indoor environments. Contemporary research points to the positive effect which green, natural environments have on mental relaxation and well-being. As a result, a growing number of schools utilize green areas as play spaces. They may also utilize and/or create school gardens where the children can dig, plant, and care for those plants. Some primary schools across the country have already created natural environment play spaces as their break time yards, where the children can climb, play freely, run, dig, and experiment during break times. Where this approach is taken, teachers and practitioners often note the positive effect this kind of play in nature has for the children's social behavior, for their overall well-being, and even their concentration after break time in class. There can be notable improvements in children's agility and overall fitness from just climbing some garden steps. Of course, this can also lead to the child experiencing greatly boost self-confidence, independence, and pride. So now let's look at outdoor play and the curriculum. Many educationalists, such as Montessori, Fröbel, Steiner, and Malaguzzi, view the environment as the third teacher after the adults and other children. This is because a natural environment with its varied landscapes, features, and materials offer rich learning opportunities. Loris Malaguzzi, the founder of Reggio Emilia preschools in Italy, once said, "There are three teachers of children: adults, other children, and the physical environment." In addition, Dr. Maria Montessori stated, "The environment must be rich in motives which lend interest to activity and invite the child to conduct his own experiences." More so than indoor play in a primary school, outdoor play usually happens during break time and therefore is often free play, which is child-initiated, child-led, and generally not for a particular purpose apart from having fun and enjoying the play. As we have already noted, outdoor play can be a foundation for school learning. However, we must remember there is no such thing as a planned, structured play activity. This is a contradictory in terms. An activity can be playful and fun, but play is what children do naturally. It is child-initiated, intrinsically motivated, child-led, a means to no end. Teachers can greatly support outdoor play by preparing an environment with materials that offer good, healthy, varied sense impressions and invite free play, and by creating a challenging environment as referenced by the HSE in 2013. In such an environment, the children can skill and refine their senses by climbing, digging, building, balancing, and swinging. Of course, a measured approach is necessary, and due regard needs to be given to children so they can be safe. And it is best to afford the children independence. The teacher can stay in the background. The teacher supervises and observes the children play and explore, and be close by to interact when needed. Remember, any small strip of nature in the marginal green areas around a school, even just a single tree with low-lying branches, or a sand or mud or water area, can nurture young children's curiosity, exploratory urges, and their playfulness. Looking at schoolyard greening, when we think about the word recreation, other words like well-being, relaxation, green areas, and feeling happy come to mind. To introduce some nature and make the schoolyard more inviting and aesthetically pleasing, it is a great idea to add some plants. When choosing plants, it is nice to plan for all year round color and plants that attract a variety of insects. The UN Convention on the Rights of the Child notes that connection to nature through gardening, harvesting, ceremonies, and peaceful contemplation is an important dimension of the arts and heritage of many cultures. It is really positive to note that some schools and settings add trees and shrubs in big pots or tractor tires. Some create raised beds or a little vegetable garden where the children get involved in digging, planting, minding, watering, weeding, harvesting, and eating the produce. Planters around the yard with flowers, bushes, and shrubs add color and can also produce some healthy fruit. Hanging baskets are sometimes used as they don't take up much space, but they add color and they can yield edible produce such as nasturtiums or cocktail tomatoes. In the next slides, we will show just some ideas. So here are some simple ideas for planting and adding nature to the schoolyard. A tree in a tractor tire and some bark mulch around. And within 2 months, to the delight of the children and the adults, it was in full bloom. The children love gardening, from decorating the planters to planting, minding, and watering the plants, and finally harvesting and eating the produce. It is a win-win situation all around. And it has the extra benefit of adding color and nature to a schoolyard. Inspiring free play. As we have seen above, when we talk about recreation for children, play, and in particular play in nature, come to the fore. Some schools and settings have added a water table close to a tap with some loose materials, which the children love to play and experiment with during break time. Another feature inspectors find in schools and settings is a sand table or a few tractor tires filled with sand and tools to work with. These include shovels, buckets, sieves, pipes, funnels, and little cars. They provide hours of play and introduce concepts from science and math. When sand and water are mixed, or big constructions are built with the materials provided. In high-quality early learning and care settings, inspectors note that a good range of loose, versatile, natural, open-ended, manipulative material is provided. These could also be provided in primary school settings. The materials may include things like magnifying glasses, measuring tapes, crates, pipes, wood, seashells, and stones. These enable the children to get creative and are an equally beneficial addition to a primary school environment. Let us not forget the value of benches and other seating areas, where the children can either sit in peace and quiet, contemplate, dream, rest, or read a book. They are also great for sitting with friends and having a chat. To overcome the challenges of Irish weather, in high-quality settings, waterproof clothing, including wellies, are used so that the outdoors can be enjoyed throughout the year. Again, this may be possible in your school. So now, let us consider some simple steps to take which will transform flat, hard surfaces into spaces for play while leaving valuable space for ball games. When we think about effective outdoor learning environments, the measurement of effectiveness needs to be the children's activity, and that is play. The activity encompasses physical activity as well as creative activity, emotional and social activity. While the children enjoy football and soccer, hopscotch and skipping, It is worthwhile to generate environments that provide as much variety as possible. In doing so, it is good to remember the characteristics of highly quality outdoor play. It is child-led. The child is intrinsically motivated to engage in it. It is play for the sake of enjoyment and fun rather than for a predetermined purpose, and it is supported by the teachers. Children need to be afforded uninterrupted time to play, and they need a choice of play materials. To support you to create and extend your outdoor learning environment, the self-evaluation audits within the learning environment pillar of the Ashta-Shirta Practice Guide and the audit provided in the Universal Design Guidelines publication are valuable tools and can be used to great effect in primary schools. A reference to these guides is provided towards the end of this webinar. You can involve the children in the planning stage. They may like to represent their ideas in pictures. If your school has a caretaker, he or she may help with the trickier tasks. And again, remember, family members and even community members might love to get involved. There are some more ideas now on the next few slides. The children love to fantasy play. Driving a bus or a racing car, alone or with friends, is always great fun. This simple structure is made from pallets and a real steering wheel. Some people even add a real gas pedal for even more fun. Why not consider an upcycling project that the children themselves will eagerly engage in? This work will be relevant to the visual arts and science curriculum. Do you have access to old tires? Parents might donate some. These can be painted in bright colors or left the way they are and used to form an obstacle course. They can be used to form a climbing feature, they can be filled with sand or used as planters. Or why not use some logs to create a sand play area? Add some shovels and buckets and the fun can begin. If you surround them with a thick layer of bark mulch, the logs can even be used to balance over. Children love to crawl through small spaces and engage in pretend play in them. Also, a very simple structure of 2 pallets put together makes an ideal safe climbing feature, equally good for the children to have meetings inside. Simple seating ideas can be created with wooden logs, planks, and recycled cable drums. Now we invite you to take a look at some more inspiring images from settings and schools nationwide. Here is a list of further information and resources which may support you. This brings us to the close of this webinar, and we would like to thank you for listening. We hope it provides helpful advice, and if you have direct queries, comments arising from your engagement with this webinar, please use the dedicated email address provided to send your comments to us on insights_info@education.gov.ie. We wish to thank all for the beautiful images shared with us for this webinar. Thank you very much and goodbye.